Welcome to the Computer Repair Podcast, episode number 307, BusyBench 2.0. I'm your host, Jeff Halash. This is our live show where we discuss the ins and outs of running your computer repair business. I want to introduce our co-host today, the famous or infamous, whichever way you want to look at it, Robert Lavell from UpperCase Computer Solutions. He's been on the show several times, even all the way back to show 162 when he brought BusyBench 1.0. And so he not only runs a computer repair shop, he also has started. I was looking at all his accolades on his website, and he does a lot of different things. So, but he's a great guy to talk to, and we're going to learn more about what they've done to go from BusyBench 1.0 to BusyBench 2.0. How you doing, Robert?
I'm doing great, and as always, I absolutely love anything to do with the Podnuts network. So I'm very happy to be here.
Awesome to have you. All right, so let's go ahead and start. And why don't you tell us your backstory for those that don't know? Where'd you come from? How did you get to, BusyBench 1.0, and how'd you get to all the way to BusyBench 2.0 in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, you don't start in these types of fields, just green. You don't jump into software. That's a big jump. That's like jumping off a cliff. I started a company by myself. We're based out of Medford, Oregon. Started a shop locally, got that off the ground. The actual idea there, I didn't really think I was going to do as well as I did, was to just make just enough money to go back to school, get a business degree, that kind of stuff. And then I kind of had a knack for it, and a lot of people that get into tech, they do see that kind of stuff where they're like, oh, hey, I'm actually like really good at this. Maybe I should try to pursue it. And I did that for a while. And the struggle's real. A lot of people shouldn't forget that. It was probably about 3 years of doing that, just barely scraping by, I hope I can pay the power bill kind of thing, for about 3 years. And then it started picking up a little bit of momentum. We just, kept it up. It's persistence, right? And at that point, we basically were like, okay, we need a better solution to manage all these tickets and all this stuff that comes in. And there's a lot of stuff that's out there. But unfortunately, when you're like a one-man operation and you are hoping that you make enough today to pay your power bill or your internet bill, paying thousands of dollars a month or even hundreds of dollars a month for a management platform is kind of out of the realm of reality. And so we went ahead and we were using just Word documents, Word and Excel documents to organize things. And then at that time, I believe Microsoft actually had it was like Microsoft Accounting or something. And it had this module that you could use for ticketing. And I used all of that. And it was going great. Everything was fine. We were going into our 4th or 5th year, and they discontinued the product, and it was just overnight. And so my point of sale system went down. I went to reinstall it, and I couldn't get the software, and the data was completely, proprietary, yada, yada, yada. And so at that point, one of my longtime best friends from way back in high school, he had done a lot of programming and stuff like that. And I said, hey, could you throw together like a little ticketing thing for me? I don't have any money to pay for anything else, and I'm dirt broke. And he said, yeah, sure, no problem. And so that was actually the infancy of BusyBench, which was back then we had just registered. It was called Boxy Ticket. And so that was the early stages of that. And it was just really bad. It was like thrown together overnight. Nothing worked. It was broken. The database was always down, but it worked enough to get me kind of going. Then about a year of that, we were adding to it and playing with it. And he actually had a full-time job doing something else. And so he was just, we'd chat on Discord or back then, I guess it was like MSN. And so we would chat. I know, right? I'm dating myself.
Yeah.
And we would chat a little bit. And I had a couple other techs come into my shop, and they had the exact same problem where they said, oh yeah, what are you using, by the way? I noticed that, you're keeping up with tickets and you're calling people back and you're doing all this stuff. And I was like, well, I'm using this platform, but it's not for sale, and the domain's only registered for me to use it, and this kind of thing. And so I talked to one of my best friends, who's now our lead developer. He's been with the company, like he's pretty much the reason it exists. And I said, hey, have you thought about maybe selling this thing? Like that might be plausible. And he goes, no, man, there's tons of stuff out there. There's lots and lots of other stuff. I said, yeah, but I can't afford any of that. There's got to be some type of some type of like middle ground there. Either you get the really, really cheap software, which is, that stuff that's just thrown together at someone's high school project and it's not sustainable for enterprise, or you get way, way up where you're dealing with like, oh yeah, it's $2,500 a month for my ticketing system. And I'm like, there's got to be some kind of middle ground there. And so we started BusyBench 1.0. I convinced him after months to quit his job because it's impossible to work 40 hours a week plus an extra 20 hours a week. Took him months and months. That was kind of like him just believing in me, I guess, and saying, okay, we're doing this. And I said, I'm going to make income for enough for both of us. Let's go ahead and just see if we can make this work. And so we started it, and we worked on it. That was BusyBench 1.0. We got it out there. I announced it on the show. This is actually the first channel that I announced it. You were the first person that I reached out to, and I was like, hey, I want to build this relationship. I need someone that looks professional and sounds great. You're the guy. And so, and that's still that's why I'm here today with 2.0. Okay. This is exactly the same reason. All right. And so, so we went ahead and we launched it, and immediately all of those other tech shops and those other subcontractors that we were working to, they just flocked to it, right? And they're like, oh, the interface is totally different, and it's clean, and it's not overwhelming with all of these different options and buttons and things that I will never use because I don't have 35 employees. And so that worked out really well. And then we started getting tons of requests. Well, does it integrate with this? Does it do that? How can I add this? How do I export that? And we were getting so many of those that it got to the point to where we were feeling really almost grim about the product, because we're thinking, well, it'll never grow to that. Like, we can't get it to there where it's at. Like, we can't make this little Geo Metro an F-150. Like, it's not going to happen. And so we took a little break. It was probably like a 6-month break to work on another project. It was a management platform for charter schools. Actually, we built an entire management platform to help run charter schools. That was 6 months to a year while still doing bug fixes and stuff like that on BusyBench, and trying to decide, okay, what do we do? And then we just did it. We're like, let's start over completely from the ground. How do we do this if we are going to accept requests from people that are going to ask for some bizarro stuff in the future? How do we make sure that we can move in that direction and make sure that we can build that stuff into that platform? And so, yeah, we started. It was the most daunting, like, uncomfortable feeling day one when you have just like the outline of a platform and there's nothing. It's just, I'm able to log in. And so you're thinking about all the elements of ticketing and invoicing and inventory, and you're like, this is going to be like 2 years of every day. And so, but yeah, we did it. And so every single module, as we were building 2.0, we had a pretty strong beta team. We've got quite a few people that are in our Discord. And so as we're building it, a lot of really cool stuff is happening. So we have an API, we have load balancing, we have all sorts of really cool stuff on the back end to make sure that we can grow just insanely. And as we were working through it, and we're getting closer and closer to launching 2.0, everyone keeps coming up with just these really good ideas. And so we're like, okay, let's launch 2.0 this week. And then someone would say something in Discord, and we're like, oh, okay, I want that in there. That's such a good idea. We had a pawn shop call us and said, yeah, we want to use your software. And I'm like, well, we're focusing. We're chasing one rabbit at a time. It's computer repair shops. Like, we're not really made for pawn shops. He goes, no, we've already been using it. It works great. How about, like, when people come in, could we create new customers by scanning their IDs? And we're like, maybe. And so then I took that back, and I was like, Cody, who's our lead developer, I said, this is a really good idea. Is this possible? He's like, all right, give me a couple minutes. And, and he's like, actually, yeah, we can pull all of that data, dump that, give me a few minutes. And like the next morning, we had a version of that working. And so now when customers come in, you can get these, I think they're PDF 15 or 16 or something like that is what that barcode on the back of US licenses are. Don't quote me on that. I'm probably wrong. But it's PDF something. It's a barcode. And you just scan your ID, and it dumps their address, their phone number, or not their phone number. That's the only thing it doesn't do. Their address, their first name, their last name. And then it can collect other information if you want to be really creepy, like how tall your customers are. Right now it doesn't do that. But it makes the intake process ridiculously fast. Like, a person comes in, oh, are you a new customer? Yeah, absolutely. Boop. What's your phone number? All right, cool. What's your problem? And it's just, bing, bang, boom. And then it also cuts down on the issues with typos. When you type people's last names and they're like, you spelled that wrong on the ticket. So anyway, got off on a little bit of a tangent there. But 2.0 is basically the love child of me and our our lead developer, and 2.0 has come so much farther. I mean, it's something by scale wise. I think the code base is six to eight times bigger now than 1.0 is. And so we kind of babied people over. We were kind of switching people over slowly, saying, okay, here's the 2.0 portal. Let that go for a couple of weeks. Okay, well now, this functionality, you only get that in 2.0. And slowly and surely people started migrating over, and it's been going just absolutely fantastic. So that was the migration from computer repair shop to I'm going to bet a lot of money that I probably shouldn't be spending on a platform that doesn't exist to 2.0. And it's been going great. We've been picking up clients left and right. And they're the ideal client for us because they're us, right? So they're the people that we're in that exact same problem where they're like, yeah, I want to pay for a platform that's worth it. It works great, but I'm not going to give you $1,000 a month or $800 per user. Like, that's not acceptable. And so, but yeah, so long story short, there's the backstory 1.0 and how we got here.
And that's a great story. There are a lot of people out there that look at these platforms, and it's not just about price, but it is also about sometimes you have to have a master's degree in
Mm.
order to run these platforms or
Yep.
a dedicated person.
Yep.
We deal in this industry, there's a lot of one person shops, 1 or 2 person shops, maybe
Absolutely.
a small amount of, uh, employees and stuff like that. But there's a lot. And quite honestly, believe it or not, there's a lot of one person shops that are, making that, half mil, 600,000 a year,
Oh yeah,
gross revenue.
absolutely.
It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
And what they're always trying to do is, how do I save myself some time? What can I do to save myself some
Absolutely.
time? And this sounds like it answers some of those questions because you got to keep it simple. You got to
Yep.
keep it something that somebody can use very easily and understand how it's going to work for them. And we talk about this all the time on the podcast, that a lot of people, their brains work a little differently, right?
They
So,
do. Yeah, absolutely.
some person might like this style of, inputting information, or one person might like that style. But it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. So I think it's great to have competition out there, and I think it's great that you're definitely passionate about this project. And when I looked at it earlier, I've looked at it a couple times. I looked at 1.0,
Uh-huh. It's
and
cool.
and I looked at 2.0, and I like this. It looks very simple. It
Yeah.
still looks elegant. It looks like it's, easy to use. Now,
Correct.
I will say this, and everybody knows, I always say this: software is hard. Software is not only hard to implement, as you've told us in your backstory, but it's also hard as far as learning a new system, because we're used
Mhm.
to doing things a certain way. But you know what? If you're going to do something, you might as well learn something new. That's the way I look
Yeah,
at it.
absolutely. And that's kind of the direction we were, just like you said, software is substantially different per your workflow. It's really interesting how there's so many other businesses out there that share that workflow, like watch repair, pawn shops, salons. A lot of them share that same kind of intake process, service-based business, where they don't need a ton of, and that was one of the biggest things, right? Is the customization, like every single field in BusyBench 2.0 practically, except for I think the tax fields. I know that they're customizable by name, but I think by default there's only two. I think that's the only thing that isn't customizable. And so we'll get support tickets from people that are running like a scuba repair shop or something, and they'll say, how do I change this from to say, instead of saying like Logitech, to say something else? And I'm like, oh, just click here. And so it's interesting, the community that it's built, and that's where that passion comes from. Is it's just you get to give birth to something, and it's awesome, and you get to see it grow. And now it's going from its like crawling toddler phase into its adolescence phase, and it's kind of neat to see its like first day of high school. Yeah.
Well, and I like to see that you're the person that basically started a shop,
Yep.
and so you've built it so that it
Oh,
would
we
help
get it.
you.
We get
You
it.
you you get it, and you've also niched down, which a lot of companies don't do out there. And even though you've niched down, you still have other companies on the outside of computer repair that are using your product. So that does say a lot.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it just boiled. I've noticed that the customer service side of things seems to be going. That was kind of what got us started. We were getting people who, because as a young company, or even now, I mean, because we are younger, we're not going to have 10,000 integrations. We're not going to have, the big beefy, huge integrations that a 10-year-old company is going to have. We had people switching from major platforms that I couldn't believe that they were switching from, because they were just like, I'm tired of waiting 3 days for an email response. Like if I call you, you respond to it within an hour. You give me your cell phone number. If I have consistent, like I had this one customer, he actually got in a car accident, and he had called us and said, "Hey, you just switched me over to 2.0. I don't know what the link is. I'm in a hospital bed. This happened. I swear to you, this happened. I'm in a hospital bed, and I need to be able to view what's happening at the shop today." And so we got that voicemail. I was like, I listened to it 5 minutes later. I called him back. I said, "Hey, I'm one of the founders. That super sucks, but I understand how stressful it is. Let's see if we can pull that stress down a little bit. Here's the URL." I stayed on the phone with him. I said, "Are you able to get logged in? Do you need your password reset?" He goes, "No, I'm good to go. I'm good to go." And then, we followed up with him, make sure everything was okay. And so that's the kind of stuff that we're getting customers from, because it's just like, hey, it looks like caring gets you customers, I guess. Like, imagine that.
Yeah, customer support is one of the things that
Yeah,
it's hard to find nowadays. So when you find a
that's true.
company that's
That's very
doing
true.
good customer support, you're like, hey, I don't care what you're charging.
Sometimes it's worth it.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
So I do have a list of a couple things we can go over. And so we don't need to do any awkward segues or anything like that.
yep, you go because so explain to us anyways how this product, basically from the beginning, what you can do with this product, some of the features and things that
Absolutely.
would
Yeah.
appeal to our audience.
Okay. So let's get the biggest elephant out of the room. What we're looking at cost. That's like the number one thing that anyone that's in the tech field or that is looking at new software, whenever they go to a website, they always click on the pricing tab first. They're just like, let's see if this is even worth reading, right? So when we took 2.0, and if you say you don't, you're a liar. You know that. I
Exactly.
do it, you do it, everybody does it, right?
Exactly.
It's like, okay, it's this much money. Let me see if they have the future features that justify the cost. So we did a couple different things. We moved tiers down a little bit. We went from 4 tiers down to 3 tiers. We gave and now our 4th tier is more of a custom plan. If someone needs like a whole bunch of features, we just do a custom thing for them. So our top tier right now is actually, let me pull it up real quick just to make sure, because there's a whole bunch of different features that we just updated a couple days ago. So our top tier right now is $69. So that is the everything we have you get tier is $59. Sorry about that. Did I say 59 or 69?
I think you said 69. I was about to correct you because I just looked on the
Okay,
website.
good.
I
All
think it
right.
was 59.
So it's 59. So $60. And that's what we're looking at for top tier. That's everything. That's everything and in between. But that isn't what we've been focusing on, believe it or not. Like everyone, loves to make money. Everyone likes, those big subscriptions. What we've noticed is in the past, and especially with 1.0, the customers that are our free customers end up being the customers that bring us in the most revenue. They grow with the brand. We help them build their brand, and then they end up transitioning into actually providing great feedback, right? So we have free clients that are they don't pay us anything, but their feedback and being able to support the product and talk to us about the product and give us an honest, response is worth way more to us. And so we've been really kind of like working on focusing what can we do to make sure that aspect or that tier continues to grow like out of control. How many free accounts can we get? How many free accounts can we get that grow with the brand? And so we went kind of crazy on the free tier. 1.0 used to have a limit to tickets, or no, had a limit to customers. We didn't have a limit to tickets. Customers, I think, was limited to like 50 or 100 or something like that. And that was all that you could import with free. So with the free account now, as of 2.0, you get one active user. And obviously, you can use that throughout your shop. Unlimited customers. So even if you're coming from a different platform over to ours, you get unlimited customers. So you import 10,000 customers, that's cool. They're all going to work. There's no limit there. Unlimited repair tickets. So you can do as many repair tickets as you want, and you can assign them to those customers completely unlimited. Unlimited invoicing. That's a big one that our free customers are going to love. You can make as many invoices as you want, completely unlimited, no cost there. Unlimited estimates, that kind of ties in with invoices, and then unlimited outbound emails. So it's everything that the way that I like to phrase it, it's everything that I needed when I started my shop. And as you grow and you start making those revenue streams, you start picking up backup accounts and you start selling antiviruses and you start growing, then you can pick up the other parts of the platform that you need. You're like, oh, you know what? I'm not doing cash anymore. And my terminal, I don't want to go through this payment processor. Maybe I want to look at authorized.net. Maybe I want to look at an integration. You can do that. We're not going to hold you back from running your business. We see that with a lot of other platforms where they say, hey, you can do 50 tickets or 100 invoices or only 50 customers. And that would have slowed me down, and I probably wouldn't have stayed with the brand when I started if the roles were reversed, if I wasn't the one running it. And so we're really trying to grow that free tier and bring those customers up with us. I'll kind of talk a little bit about some of the features, just so everyone knows what you get with it. So we have 3 tiers: our free, our basic, and our standard. Free is $0. It's always free. There's nothing that comes with that. Like you literally, there's no obligation. You use it as much as you want, or you use it as little as you want, and you get all of those unlimited features. The basic account, which is $24.99 a month, you get 2 active users. So 2 people can be logged in and have individual notes and things like that. The list, we've been trying to reduce the size of the feature list on the website because on mobile, it's really overwhelming. So we're only putting bullet points, but our new support form does have a complete breakdown of all of the different comparisons between features. Like there's been so much little stuff added. Hundreds and hundreds of little things. Note encryption. We now have full form formatting and stuff like that. So you can copy like wiki articles and it maintains the form formatting into your notes and stuff like that. So we didn't document all that stuff just because users will find it when they start going through. But you do get ticket overview with the basic account. The basic account ticket overview is it's your first in, first out, or FIFO. It's a first or a one-stop shop to kind of see what is due right away, what came in. And this last year was actually majorly awesome for ticket overview because our beta team just kept coming up with ideas. It was almost like every day they were like, well, why don't we show this info, or why don't we remove that, because that doesn't need to be there, it needs to be here. And so the ticket overview has been like completely redone from like the ground up, and then redone again, and then rebuilt, and then reskinned, and then redone again. So ticket overview is pretty fantastic. Kind of shows you everything that's happening, and you can also do your notes and stuff from there. Customer map, just a cool little feature, allows you to see where all your customers are coming from, allows you to kind of see if you enter their address or you scan their ID when you're taking a customer in, it'll drop a little pin, and so you can kind of see demographically where those customers are coming from. Most of our customers in my current shop actually come from like the south side of town. So if I was to run a marketing campaign, I might want to focus those efforts there. So it's kind of a cool feature. And then reporting tools. We completely rebuilt the entire reporting module. We wanted to be able to create reports for people that are just obscure, like crazy obscure, that we've never heard of. And so that was completely rebuilt from the bottom up. And so now we can run a metric on literally anything. Obviously not all of those crazy reports are in there, but we get requests all the time where people say something like, hey, I've got this one specific tag for this one specific customer that's doing this one specific thing. Can I have a report? And we're like, okay, cool. There's a demand for it. So now there's a report made for that. And that's built in, and that kind of grows with the platform as people request them. All the major reports are in there though, profit, loss, inventory, all that good stuff, all the basic stuff's in there. And then we jump to our standard account. That comes with our 5 users, all the same stuff that everything else came with. So you do get all of the unlimited goodies, ticket overview, customer map, and reporting tools. Now the standard account comes with substantially more because it's our top tier. You do get calendar and scheduling, and that's one of the big things that happened with 2.0 was we did integrate with Google G Suite and Microsoft 365. So all of your favorite calendars that you use with 365 and Google, seamless right across. You just sign in, boom, 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 everything's there. So all of your scheduling stuff, like if you've got like a scheduling calendar on your website and stuff like that, that all fully integrates. No problem there. Comes with a full point of sale module. So that was a pretty big one. Everyone wanted customizable buttons and stuff like that. And so we we went totally overboard rebuilding the point of sale system. It's even more customizable. You can do button scaling and make tiny buttons and big buttons and make multiple tabs of buttons. And you can have a tab for just cables that has more buttons and colors. And so you can kind of just go crazy with the point of sale if you want to. So it comes with that. SLA alerts are the single most important module of my current shop, and that continues to grow. It basically anything that happens that shouldn't be happening ends up in SLA. And so SLA is like you send out an invoice and the invoice doesn't get opened, right, for like 3 days. And we actually track IP addresses. We can see when they open them. We can see if an invoice wasn't emailed, if a ticket is stale or is sitting in there. My business manager actually, that's his task every 3 days, is to go through SLA and to check and to audit. You can leave notes in there so that you know what you did on that. You can snooze them and make them go away, go out of the list. But SLA is a very powerful tool for making sure that things don't fall through the cracks. Let's say a computer repair came in and you needed to order, let's say, CPU cooler or something. You don't have it in stock. You place the order and your ticket goes on hold. You enter some tracking information and you go about your business and you forget about it. Well, 3 days later, you're going to get a little badge on tickets that says, or whatever definable time you want. It could be a week. You get a little badge on there and it'll say something like, hey, this ticket hasn't been updated. Like, you should probably look at this. Like, this is a problem. Or what happens more often than not with us, and this is just, it's unfortunate, is we won't receive the package at all. We will get a product, we'll order the part, and we will never receive the product. And so it'll pop into SLA. Typically, if the product comes in from, UPS or FedEx, it'll come in, we'll have the product and go, okay, what ticket does this match up with? This is for something that's on hold. Boom, 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 it's good to go. But if the product doesn't show up, there's no one sitting back there going, hey, this should have been here. And so SLA helps keep track of that. So we can go, oh, well, that popped into SLA. That should have been here. Let's go ahead and contact the seller. Let's get another one shipped out. Let's get that repair going. And typically at that point, we'll call the customer and say, hey, we're super sorry. They showed up, or nothing showed up with the part, and we've got to wait. And so it allows us to actually work customer service a little bit more there as well. Authorize.net integrations, that also comes with a couple other things I'm going to talk about later. But Auth.net is our primary integrator for payment processing. You can use your own card swiper and stuff like that. We've noticed on average it is much cheaper than the standard, Swipe and Square and stuff like that. Completely optional if you want to do that. And we do have a few different payment processor or intermediate processors that'll help you sign up for that and do all the paperwork for you. It's fantastic. Recurring invoices. This is a big one for us. Customer comes in, we sell them on backups, we sell them on antivirus, we create a subscription. You can keep, if you have an Auth.net account or another integrated payment platform, you can store those credit card numbers. And so it's completely PCI compliant. We don't actually store any of that data. It's all handed off to Visa. And so you can store all of that payment information and bill them regularly every month. So you can do those types of services, and that helps bring in that revenue stream. It helps you grow your company every month without having to worry about getting new customers in the door every 10 minutes. We also have automated follow-up emails. So when you finish a repair, you can click the invoice to follow up. It'll shoot out an email and say, hey, is everything okay? Did this repair work out for you? Is there anything else I can help with? I'd really like to make sure you're taken care of. Also comes with complete account setup assistance. That one's got a little asterisk on it because that's like above and beyond. Even with the free accounts, we're going to help you set up your logo. We're going to help you set up SMTP information. If you reach out to us and ask us for help, even if you're paying us $0, we're going to help you. We're going to give you email support. We're going to make sure you're up and running. We're going to make sure you're good to go. And that falls back on what we were talking about with the free accounts, whereas those free accounts grow with us. They bring us new clients, they work with us, and they bring us just fantastic ideas that we wouldn't have thought about. And so you're going to get that across the board. But if you need more advanced stuff, like you're like, hey, I need like a custom template written, or I need, I want you to really think about this integration I have that only I need. That is kind of where that falls into place. We tend to push that up the list a little bit. Like, okay, let's reach out to this company. Let's see if that integration is possible. And then the priority technical support, we're going to, if you reach out to us, we're going to jump on that like within seconds. Typically our SLA is under half an hour anyway, but we like to let people know, hey, if priority support is a concern for you and you're in a high availability environment, yes, that might be the tier for you. But we treat them all equally. A lot of companies we've seen in the past, because we do shop our competitors a little bit to kind of see how we're doing as far as customer services. And if we call a lot of our competitors and say, hey, I'm a free account, we tend to not get responded to for 2 hours or 3 days. We get put into a phone loop, then there's no support. That we're aiming to completely break that mold altogether, just because we've seen so much good come out of those free accounts. And so there's a gist of all of the features, and I mean, the features is like 2,000 items long. It's just crazy. But that's the main stuff. You get to run your shop and to get you going. Use it completely free, but grow with us. Give us feedback. That's our one ask. We're like, hey, we're hosting this platform. We're making it secure. We're giving you all these features. Just talk to us. Join our Discord. Send us an email. Something isn't perfect, or you come up. This is more often than not. You just come up with a better idea, something we didn't think about, and like the scanning the ID thing that came from a pawn shop. Some of the other ways that we manage notifications come from free accounts, and they were just fantastic ideas. So that's the trade off. Is like, hey, we're going to give you something for free. Just make sure you feed us back a little bit of good information. But that's the gist of the feature list there. Yeah.
It's a very extensive list. I'll tell you what, you guys got a lot of things going on there, and I think it's awesome. Yeah, because even with the free account, there's a lot of things that a beginning computer repair shop can do. If you're
Right.
just doing this part time, you're working out of your home. A lot of times money is an issue. Now there's a balancing balancing act with that, but I think
Yeah.
you're seeing the benefits of the feedback and the things you're getting from those,
Oh yeah,
that free
absolutely.
tier. So
We
in a
get more feedback and more positivity from those free accounts than we do. Then I'm gonna just say it. Than we do our paid accounts. Like they're open. They're communicating with us. They're in our Discord. They send us messages. Like it's fantastic. So yeah, let's keep dumping more resources in there. We're
right,
good with that. Yeah, absolutely.
that's good. That's good. I like that. It's a good approach, and everybody knows I am a fan of a tiered approach, which you
Yep.
guys have absolutely done here, and that's you can't ask for any more than that. And again, prices are fair because obviously we're out there making money in our businesses, and if we want the convenience of the upper tiers,
They're there. They're there if you want them.
you can pay for them, and
Right.
they're there, and you've got everything.
Yep.
So
So there's no price of entry. There's no risk. You sign up. If you don't like it, don't use it. But if you do like it and you do use the free account, tell us how we're doing.
now I've noticed it said build monthly.
Mhm.
So I mean, is that so people can basically sign up and
Yep.
quit whenever?
There's no hidden agreements. There's nothing. You pay for the features. If you don't like it, you walk away. We don't do any of that shady backdoor. Well, you sign up for a month and we're gonna, hook you into a 2-year agreement. There's none of that.
Okay.
There's nothing more. I can't stand more than that kind of stuff. And that's that goes completely down the ladder. Even in my business, we do a lot of the managed business services, and we actually don't have contracts anymore for that exact reason. It's just we're real big into building relationships and not contracts. And I don't think when two companies are coming together, they should have an agreement looming over them as to whether or not I'm going to send them to court. If we drop the ball and we're not providing the service, just walk away. There you go. So I think that's fair. I think that's very fair.
That is fair, and that's really what it comes down to, in my opinion, is relationships in the business, and we talk about that a lot on this channel too. So
Yeah.
that's yeah, no wonder I like you. Um,
Well, it goes with the whole trying not to be a scumbag thing. I think that like
right?
if you just kind of apply that to life, things go pretty good for you.
Yeah,
It seems to be working.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Very cool. All right, so obviously you guys have done a lot of stuff, and you went over the overview of what the product can do for you,
Mhm.
and I know you had a couple other things on your list there that you also wanted to
Yep.
talk about, but because I think we've pretty much covered.
Most of it. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? S- Start with a free account,
Yeah, start with a
see
free
what it
account,
does,
see if you like
and
it. And then one of the other things I wanted to mention there is when you do sign up for a free account, and people for some reason they email us and they ask us this, and I need to make it clear and bold or something. You get the standard account, you get the highest tier for 14 days. You get to play with all of those features to see if you want them. And so after the 14 days, it just goes down to the free account. You use it for life. You're good to go. There's
nice.
no obligation there. So if you're thinking you're like, oh, maybe I want SLA, but I don't know if I need that account, or maybe I don't need SLA, or maybe I don't need ticket overview. Just sign up for the trial, play with it, see if it works. If you don't, walk away. It's no big deal. Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask a question.
Sure.
So, from your experience of the customers that have been using this product, because I know you've had this product in beta for a long time, and
Yep.
obviously you've been building it along the way.
Yep.
For those customers, what is because this is a question people ask all the time, what is the learning curve of using this product in your opinion?
In my opinion, well, the entire product is based around ease of use. And so when we built the interface, we did everything we hated. We did everything that we liked from every other platform we tried. And so if you use standard SaaS platforms and other types of platforms like Google and Microsoft and stuff like that, there's certain elements in the UI that are just really intuitive. And so we tried to keep that as, and that has been like the forefront. I can't tell you how many meetings, 3 or 5 of them a day, that we have for the last year during the 2.0 development. That was, okay, we want to add this feature. How do we hide it? And that is the number one thing that we talk about all the time, because most of our customers that are coming up, if you're a new shop, you don't need SLA. You've got, 3, 5, 10 customers, you know them all by first name. You don't need to know that you didn't send them an invoice. You definitely know you didn't send them an invoice.
Exactly.
And so we changed 2.0 a little bit, but made it scalable. So we added little hamburger buttons to certain things to where we can add features, but it doesn't throw it in your face. And so the learning curve, I like to say, is intuitive, but we want to, we were actually kind of mulling around this idea to give people discounts if they do a kind of like a university or a little trial class, to make sure that they know where everything is, just so it makes them more comfortable in the platform. We've been playing around with that idea. And so from a standpoint, I mean, you go and you create a customer, it seems really straightforward. I'm trying not to be biased, because it's my product. But from a general usability side, that is the forefront of how we're designing it. We hear feedback all the time where people say, where's that function? And we'll say, oh, it's under this menu. And they go, oh, okay. And that's because they just now transitioned into needing that. Or but obviously major stuff like activity email, that kind of stuff is all there. But the functionality past the 2, 3, and 5 employees, we're trying to make that not as in your face. We don't want people being overwhelmed by the platform where they log in and the first thing they see is 100 interface buttons and 3,000 options, and they're like, okay, where do I start? And I mean, even when I was signing up for marketing stuff, like look at Hootsuite. When you first jump into Hootsuite, you're like, whoa, there's a lot here. There's a nice little video that walks you through all of it, but you're going to touch maybe 20% of it. And so that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep that 20%, the stuff that you see. And then if you're looking for something or you want to see that functionality, there's a setting to enable it, and then it pops into the interface. And so that's a big goal as far as the learning curve goes, because a lot of our shops are first-time business owners. They are the people that are like, hey, I've been doing tech work for this other company for a few months. I'm thinking about going out on my own. We don't want to overwhelm them. They don't need to be thinking about all of this giant big picture stuff, when all they want to do is take in a ticket and make an invoice. so
That's good.
I
I like that.
would say the learning curve is pretty good.
Okay. I like that. And I look at it from this standpoint. I've known you for a long time now, and you're just going to give me an honest answer of what you feel and what you've seen other people say.
Yeah.
One of the things about software that irritates me sometimes is when I look for something and it's not named something normal. It's
all Cisco devices.
like, come on, can't you just, you got to take the engineering out of it.
Yeah.
Get the engineers, put them in the back room with the graham crackers and cookies, doing what they do, right? And then,
Absolutely.
put normal names on the thing so that people can actually find them and it makes
Absolutely.
sense to them.
That's so great. And we hear that kind of stuff all the time. People say, oh, where's this functionality? And we're like, it's right there. And they're like, oh, I was overthinking this. So yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we are community driven. Our entire workflow throughout the day is based on the demand of what our people want. And so if you say, and as silly as it is, we had a person say, hey, this button's a really stupid color. You should change that. And we're like, okay, yeah, that's a pretty simple thing. We can change that if that makes your life a little bit better, and makes the interface a little bit better than you. I'm pretty sure if it irritates you, it irritates 20 other people. So let's go ahead and change the button colors, no problem. And so we're real flexible as long as it doesn't affect. Sometimes we'll get people that have like big sweeping changing, or we call them a big idea people. And it would affect like all of our clients, or compromise all their data. Then we're like, nah, that's not really a thing that we're going to push forward on. But maybe you should, maybe you can do this instead, and stuff like that. But yeah, the interface is pretty straightforward and pretty easy. And I try to be as honest as I can about it. If I'm wrong, then shoot me an email and I'll own up to it.
Well, hey, like you said, though, you can try an account a full
Yeah,
account for 14 days and then
you're good
stick
to
with
go.
the free account while you're learning the system. And,
You're good to go.
you'll know if this
Absolutely.
is going to work for you. And so
Perfect.
that's, yeah, that's perfect.
So I do have like two more items on my list. Do you want me to bang them out?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So one of the biggest things that people have asked for, this has been like almost every day. Where's QuickBooks? Does Zero integrate? And can I use PayPal? We totally hear you. Like we get it. Like QuickBooks needs to be in there. QuickBooks is really big. That is a really big process of integrating everything and getting it to sync and live syncing, all that stuff. So we actually brought on another developer. I was actually surprised we didn't have it out by the end of this or before this podcast was airing, because I actually thought it was going to be out a couple days ago. QuickBooks is like, it's finalizing right now. They're testing it. They've already got all the connections and the tokens and all that good stuff working. Right after that, our biggest priority is going to be Zero, and then PayPal. PayPal has been demanded by like 4 people, 5 people maybe in the past, but it is something that we've always wanted to get in there. So that we're gonna have that other developer that we brought in specifically for the accounting software work on that as well. Just let's get that done. Let's get that out. So QuickBooks, you can basically say within a couple days, I would assume it would be in, but it's done basically. Zero's coming right after that, and then PayPal integration. Now, the reason PayPal hasn't been put in there is we've been working on this agreement with a company called Card Connect. Card Connect is a first data company, and they actually reached out to us. They said, hey, we had a couple customers that tried your platform. They love it, but they would like to use our terminals. Is this something you would like to integrate with? Now, we've reached out to other companies like Clover and said, hey, we want to integrate with you. Can we have a terminal to work on? And they say stuff like, yeah, for $2,000 you can. And so we're like, well, we don't use your product. We'll send it back to you. We'll ship it back to you, but we need something to test. And we typically don't come to an agreement. Card Connect actually reached out to us and said, hey, here's the deal. We will beat PayPal rates, guaranteed. That's on their website. We'll beat PayPal, we'll beat Stripe, and we'll also beat Square. If your customers come to us, there's no monthly reoccurring agreements, none of that junk, and no contracts other than, hey, here's the rates kind of thing, standard like that. It's not nothing that's going to rope you into anything. And so I was like, well, that kind of follows the spirit of the company really well. Let's see if these guys are just another payment processor that is going to rip off our BusyBench clients. So we got a lawyer involved, and we went through their agreements, and we made a bunch of omissions to our side of things. Made sure everything was on the up and up, and it was straight up just, hey, we want to be a payment processor, and we're starting into that field, and they're actually rather large. They're a first data company, but their entire goal is to compete directly with Square, compete directly with Stripe, and to guarantee lower rates than that. And so then we went to him and we said, okay, well, all right, so you're going to beat their rates. How about your terminals? How much are your terminals? Like, because that's one of the things I absolutely hated when I started my business, was all these cockroachy type, just awful payment processing companies that would come into my business and say, hey, we're going to get you signed up. We got the lowest possible rates, and we're going to get you this terminal. And then you're out. There's some $8,000 hidden agreement, and then you're paying 10% on every cent. And it's just crazy. And so I was really, really like hostile with them going into this, because I'm like, we are not doing this to a bunch of computer repair businesses that we value. And they were like, no, none of that is there. And I read all the agreement word by word multiple times. And if you want to do a terminal with them, it starts at $170 a month. You own it. It's yours. There's no hidden junk with that. It's about as lax, or as far as we can tell, as easygoing as like Square is. And so you go to the website, you sign up. 2 or 3 days ago, we actually did an entire run through of their entire backend platform, what it looks like, because we wanted to make sure that there was a way for us to make sure that they aren't dropping the ball. Because we did notice that in the past, where people will go to sign up for payment processing, and they'd send us an email, where's my auth.net? How do I sign up for this? What's going on? And so now we have a portal. We can make sure that they're doing their job. We can make sure we can see what the rates are and they're not getting any backdoor junk going on. And then we can also give support to them as well. So if a customer of BusyBench calls us and says, hey, I want to add a couple terminals, or my terminals suck and they're not working, we can actually do support for that payment processor right from our end. And so if they want that, they can come to us or go to them. But that was one of our happiest moments, was we actually came together with a payment processor that seems like a pretty stand-up company, or as much as we can do on this end to make sure that they are. That kind of leads me into the next topic, which is integrations. I'll make this one quick. We don't integrate with anything that you're going to have to pay a whole bunch of money for. That makes no sense to us. We'll see a lot of platforms out there that instead of building and cooking that feature into the platform, they will say, oh, well, just go integrate with them. Sign up for Zapier, integrate with them, get out of my hair kind of thing. That doesn't work for smaller businesses. It doesn't work when you're on a free account, you're scraping by, you need some functionality to get a new account, or a new account walks in your door and you just need to get it going so you can kind of get on your next leg. And, oh, there's a $500, bill because I got to integrate with 30, 40, 50 different things. The only things we integrate with are things that we know that we will not do better, or that we know that we'll never be able to do to begin with, i.e. like G Suite. We're not going to build an entire platform. We're not going to build Microsoft 365 from the ground up. Cool, totally integrated. But silly stuff that isn't going to benefit our customers, or they have to spend, $30, $40, $50 extra a month for that feature, we're going to try to bake all that into the system. And then our last thing was, we got two last things. One of them was our new import system. If you're coming from another platform, we rebuilt the entire import system from the ground up to make it easy to import all your customers. So you just import a CSV or a text file, you select where you want the stuff to go. This customer goes here, like our first name equals customer, and then you just go down the list and you're good to go. So you can import like a bajillion customers and be good to go on a free account. Our plans moving forward, and this is the first announcement of this. So, I just want to throw this out here for Jeff here. We noticed early on while building this, everyone has an RMM client. Everyone and their grandma has an RMM client in their software. And we, as a side project, actually had another developer come in that we built an RMM for. And that's actually not what I'm announcing, so just hold your horses. So we do have an RMM client that we've been using forever, but it was mostly for my shop. I wanted something to monitor hard drives and uptime and stuff like that, but it was for me. It wasn't anything that was going to be a part of BusyBench. And then we got to the point to where we're like, it would be really cool if we could like cut out the middleman for our cloud backup stuff and then like roll it all together. And so we ended up doing an entire offsite backup software, 256-bit AES encrypted, 2FA authenticated, all that good stuff. 6 months of alpha, 6 months of beta. And then I think we've been using it another 3 or 4 months after that. So we're like a little over a year of just solid, stable use. But essentially the goal is, and this is very interesting because I talked to you a little bit about this before. If you're a small shop, okay, you've got no money, no clients, all right. Customer walks in the door and you say, hey, do you have pictures or documents on your computer? And they go, yes. And you say, I will back up to 100 gigs for $10 a month, super low price point. And they go, yeah, okay, that sounds great. You get to back up their data and you don't pay us anything until you start making money. And so that's the olive branch we're trying to give to these free accounts is we want to see you grow with us. And by doing that, we're going to give you this new product that we've named Status Command. We've already got, icons and some cool stuff for that. It's just not on the website right now. Customer walks in your door, you're able to make some money. As you need more space, that's what you pay us for. So as your customers are coming in and you're noticing you need more space and essentially provisioned gigabytes, you buy that stuff from us. You buy the space. We're happy, you're happy, and you get an end-to-end client that backs up all your stuff. You can do on the fly restores. It doesn't use anything like Amazon Glacier. The restores are instant, so it's instant recovery if you need it. You can recover them even if the hard drive is dead. But it's a completely from the ground up, baked in solution. There's no integration. You simply just pay for gigabyte per gigabyte. I think it breaks down to 5 cents a gig. So for 100 gigs, and here's the price point. Let's get another giant elephant out of the room here. Customer walks in, you charge them $10. You're going to pay us $5 of that. But here's the cool thing. Okay. All of that cool stuff integrates for free into BusyBench. The invoicing, the recurring, the statuses, notifications into SLA. You can see if they haven't been backed up, if they've been stale, if they uninstalled the client, does all that cool stuff. And it's all baked in, and you don't pay us anything until you start making money. So that's the big announcement there, is that we do have another product that's being completely built from the ground up into BusyBench that is made by us. And so you can run and it's got the RMM stuff is just like cherry on the cake. We built all that in there, not even thinking about it. So you can monitor CPU and RAM and how big the volumes are, and how many hard drives you have. We have a whole device manager, so you can see what stuff's plugged into it. And that's all just there because we're like, that would be cool. And so that was kind of the big announcement that I wanted to make, is that we are moving into that space that is going to allow our customers to sell these products that are going to bring in recurring revenue for their shops before they even pay us a penny. We can grow with those. Now, in addition to that, I'm going to sprinkle some sugar on there. In addition to that, during our beta testing, the hardest part for these computer repair shops and these small one-time, one person operations is the marketing material. How do I get comfortable with my customer walking in and me saying, I'm doing a backup thing. Do you want to buy it? We provide you with the marketing materials. I'm going to provide you with Photoshop documents. I'm going to provide you with Word documents that you can just rebrand all yourself. All you have to do is reach out and say, hey, can I get some marketing materials? And we're going to give you all the marketing materials. So you literally just print them out or have them printed by, a discount printer like Vistaprint. And customer walks up, you can lay down all the benefits. You have to put zero work into this. And we're giving this all to our free accounts. You're getting the marketing material. I believe we're giving 100 gigs for free per account that signs up. So if you're a free account, you get to sell 100 gigs that we're not making anything off of, just to see if that's a viable business for you. And then at that point, if we can get you to make some money, we can give you the marketing materials. You're giving us feedback and you can grow with us. Then we can talk about more and more features, and we can continue to build the brand with you. And so, yeah, we're taking a completely backwards stance. We're giving everything away without making any money. But so far that's been working really, really good for us. And so it's just this trickle effect. And so if you are interested in that, just shoot us an email at support@BusyBench to say, hey, I want to be a part of the beta team. We'll enable it on your free account. It's technically out of beta, but we don't have all the website stuff to advertise it just yet. It is totally done and polished, but we just aren't advertising it yet. So if you are interested in that, just reach out. We're going to give you all of those goodies just to get you, to use our brand and to move forward with us. So there's a lot of good stuff with that. Oh, that was a lot to talk about.
Wow.
But yeah, it's really cool.
You covered a lot.
Yeah. And then the last thing was that I did want to mention was we do have a promo code. It's promo code PodNuts. I believe it's spelled with a capital P, but it's PodNuts. I'm gonna add some more sugar here. So it is a 30% off the account. Okay. But not just off your first month. If you do sign up for any of the tiers, obviously other than the free, so basic or standard, if you sign up and you use promo code PodNuts, you're going to get 30% off the life of the account. So that means forever, you're going to get 30% off just by using that promo code. And that's kind of more of hey, we really like you, Jeff. So we're going to take care of your people. You take care of our people kind of thing,
I like it. That's good.
So yeah, it's a lot to kind of just it's a lot of cool stuff. And there's no catches. It's not a we're tricking you into anything thing. It's a small team building a platform. We've noticed that giving stuff away makes really good clients, and we don't have to be scumbags about it. So cool. Try our platform. If you don't like it, walk away or grow with us, grow your brand with us, and we'll make sure we take care of you. So
that is awesome. You know what? Yeah. Could we pack any more great information into the show? I don't think so.
I don't know. I think I'm gonna lose my voice. So, yeah.
No, that was awesome. I really appreciate you coming on and sharing with us all the different things. And obviously we'll have links in the show notes for people to get in touch and with the promo code and all that kind of stuff.
Excellent.
30% off. I mean, again, free tier, try it out. 30% off. You want to use the paid for tiers. And I look at this situation and I look at it as it's a win-win. There is no lose in this situation. So it's a good thing.
And like I said, my goal is I'm going to get Jeff to be just such a diehard BusyBench user that, he's going to come working for us someday. So we're going to make this happen. So it's how much sugar can I add to the cake? Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
I appreciate you coming out and sharing with us. And I know that we've been talking about this for a while. And again, I tell people, hey, software is hard
Oh,
and everything does not work out exactly the way you want it to. And that's okay because it's a work in progress. But you guys have went from like, I don't know, the Stone Age to,
I know.
like Skynet 2.0. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
It's just
crazy, man.
nuts.
We reminisce on it all the time, and we're like, man, we should have never started this project. And then the other days we're like, can you believe how much we've done? Like that's kind of crazy, you know? And so yeah, we're loving it. Like it's, everyone wants that dream job that they get to come to work and they enjoy what they're doing. And we love seeing these small companies come out of nowhere with someone that has an idea, grow with us. And then we've seen these companies that have been using us since like I remember our very first customer, and I don't even know how he found us. We weren't registered on a search engine or anything, and he was out of I think London, and he had sent us an email and said, "Hey, I'm opening a computer business. Does your software do this?" And we're like, "Yeah, of course it does." And we zoom in, and we're zooming in on the Google Maps. And we're like, "Oh, that's where our first customer is. That's so cool." And it's just been going kind of crazy like that. So we get to talk to, and the cultural differences. Like there are computer repair shops that I didn't know that part of the world existed, which is just it's a fantastic thing. We love it. And so I don't think and we get asked that all the time. Well, how long's BusyBench going to be around? Well, so far it's doing really great, and we love our job. So unless something crazy happens and computers start fixing themselves, then we're going to be around for quite a while.
Awesome.
So
Well, I appreciate it again, Rob. I'll tell you what,
absolutely.
why don't you go ahead and let people know where they can personally find you or get some more information from you. And then
Absolutely.
again, we'll have all the links and everything in the show notes.
Sure. So if you want to go in, you want to try out BusyBench for yourself, you just go to busybench.com, sign up, click trial, boom, bang, you're good to go. Use it for 14 days if you want to try the advanced stuff. Outside of that, you don't have to. You can use it for your account. If you want to get a hold of me personally, you can reach out and to support@busybench.com. That actually goes to our support team. So anything that's like I need help with my account or setup or stuff like that, you can just go to support@busybench.com. Or if you want to reach out to me directly, it's robert@busybench.com. And you can, I have long conversations about the craziest stuff all the time that just has to do with a computer repair shop management that has absolutely nothing to do with the platform. So if you do have questions and stuff, or one of the things I had when I was younger was I didn't really have a mentor or anything like that. If you're just like, hey, how do I get over this hurdle? Shoot me an email. Like I love helping out. The Cody loves giving that kind of advice. It's all stuff that once it happens, you're like, wow, why didn't I realize that? And we're here to help. We're here to grow that relationship into the future. So
Well, again, thank you for coming out and sharing with us today.
yeah,
And definitely well worth it. And all I can tell people is, hey, go out there, sign up, give it a shot,
sign up, try
and
it,
yep,
get your
try
foot in
it
the
out.
door. That's all we're asking.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right. Come join us live for the Computer Repair Podcast every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern over at podnets.com/CRP Live. As people probably noticed, this was a extra special edition outside of our normal Sunday, but we're going to go ahead and throw that in the mix because we like to hear about new products and services that we can learn about and use in our businesses, and that's what we're all about. Join in on the conversation by hanging out in the chat room. You can also send an email to podnuts@podnuts.com or leave a voicemail at 734-335-1000. I want to thank everyone for listening and subscribing to the show. We'll see you next time on the Computer Repair Podcast.